As most of you know, this Wednesday morning, the government reported inflation running at 4.2%, the hottest number in 3 years.
He's worried about inflation. I said, that's right. If there's inflation in 6 months or 9 months, you lower the rates or you raise the rates. We should be 2.5 points. Remember, Europe had 10 cuts. We had none. We're paying more rate, more interest than a lot of European nations.
Here is the latest numbers here. Inflation rising 4.2% annually in May, highest in 3 years. And I think a lot of consumers saying, yeah, we've been telling you this for a while.
And gold and silver, the assets that exist for exactly this moment, fell anyway, down close to half from its January peak. If that combination makes no sense to you, good. It should not, because the explanation has nothing to do with inflation. It's sitting in an autopsy published by the Bank of International Settlements, the central bank of the world's central banks, and it names exactly who's been doing the selling. If you're holding metal right now and you're hurting, this is the video that tells you what's actually being sold, who's selling it, and why that selling runs out. I'm Eric with Summit Metals. We do the work institutions do for themselves in a way people like you and me can actually use. I've also put a full briefing together on this report. The key findings, the margin timeline, the central bank numbers, all sourced in a free PDF brief. It's the first link in the description. All right. So on Thursday, I walked through where this decline ends, the levels, the floor, the map. Today is the other half of that answer. Who did this? Because once you can name the seller, you know when the selling stops. So here's the claim. Silver didn't crash because people who own silver decided it was worth less. Silver crashed in January and again this month because a tower of borrowed money built on top of that metal keeps getting demolished mechanically and predictably. The proof is in the Bank of International Settlements quarterly review in a section titled, and this is the actual title, Boom and Bust of the Recent Silver and Gold Rush, the role of leveraged retail investors. The institution owned by the world's central banks pulled the flow data and named the structures. But first you need to see the sequence, because the sequence is the story and it's still running this week. Walk through the numbers now with me. Silver doubled over 2025. Then it rose another 50+% in January alone, above 120 an ounce by late January. That's a parabola. And a parabolas attract leverage the way porch lights attract moss. Then the last Friday of January, markets repriced around a hawkish shock out of Washington, the nomination of a new Fed chair, and the selling started. Gold down roughly 11% in a day, silver down roughly 30%, the worst day for precious metals since 1980. And here's the part most people missed. The exchanges raised margin requirements into the decline. CME Group hiked silver maintenance margins by 25%, gold margins by 10%. Everyone holding futures on borrowed money suddenly needed more cash on the worst possible day to find cash. And now, fast forward to this month, because the same machinery just fired again with a different trigger. A jobs report comes in at 172,000, double what was expected. Rate cut hopes collapse. Futures markets put the odds of the Federal Reserve holding rates steady this month at over 99%. The dollar hit its highest level since April. The 10-year yield climbs back above 4.5%. And on June 5th, gold drops $146 in a single session, while silver lost 7%. Then Wednesday, inflation prints at 4.2%, the hottest since April of 2023, with energy driving over 60% of that monthly increase, and the metals still fall. Stack that sequence. Hottest inflation in 3 years, the inflation hedge goes down. That is not a market pricing inflation. That is leverage paper being repriced by interest rate math and forced selling. And it tells you the seller is not someone who owns metal, it's someone who borrowed against it. Here's an example. Take a guy, let's call him Dave. And there are thousands of Daves in this story. The Bank of International Settlements literally tracked them in the data as non-reportable small traders. Dave, let's say he's an electrician, early 50s. He watched silver run all of 2025 and he finally got in mid-January through a 2x leveraged silver exchange traded fund. Because it was easy, it was sitting right there in his brokerage app. And 2x sounded like twice as good. Here's what Dave didn't read in the prospectus. A leverage fund rebalances every single day. When silver rises, it buys more futures. When silver falls, it has to sell automatically. At the close, no judgment, no patience. Dave wasn't holding silver, he was holding a machine programmed to sell silver every day it went down. January 30th, his position drops twice as fast as the metal. His fund dumps futures into the close. The margin hikes hit, the selling cascades, and his 2x fund has lost most of its value. He sells what's left, of course, near the bottom. He's done, he's out. Now here's the line I need you to remember, because it's the entire video. Silver never went to zero. Dave's structure did. The leverage paper got liquidated. The physical never traded. Every ounce in every vault and every coin in every safe came through January 30th and came through this month as well, exactly as it went in. What keeps getting destroyed is the borrowed money claim on silver, not silver itself. So what does this autopsy actually say? 4 receipts. Receipt number 1, retail was the fuel. The flow data shows retail investors were the main source of money pouring into silver and gold funds in the run-up, while institutions held steady or trimmed. The crowd that arrived last was carrying the most leverage. Receipt 2, the leverage funds sold on autopilot. Daily rebalancing meant these products mechanically sold futures into every down move, what the report describes as momentum-like trading that creates feedback loops. When Bloomberg covered the findings, the word in the headline was destabilizing. Receipt 3, the margin spiral. Falling prices triggered variation margin calls. Exchanges raised initial margins on top of that. Forced sellers met more forced sellers. The report compares the funding squeeze to past stressed episodes. And this is the part that should concern you because it means the mechanism is reusable. We watched it reload this very month. And now receipt 4. And this one comes from the market wreckage, not just the report. Gold got sold to pay for other people's problems. Hedge funds running pooled collateral. Crypto, stocks, and metals all margined together in one account. They needed cash fast when everything fell at once. So they sold the most liquid thing they own. That's gold. Your asset class became Wall Street's ATM. And while all of that was burning, the buyers of actual metal never left. World Gold Council members quoted that central banks added 244 tons in the first quarter, above the previous quarter and above the 5-year average. And physical bar demand from investors hit its highest level in years, up 50% from a year earlier. The institutions that print money and the people who take delivery were both net buyers in the same stretch the leveraged tourists were being carried out. One side of the market keeps getting liquidated. The other side keeps accumulating. Same asset, same months. The only difference is what each side is holding, claims or the actual metal. So here's the bottom line. The crash was real. This month's follow through is real. And the pain, of course, it's real. And I'm not going to pretend otherwise. But the thing that keeps failing isn't the metal. It's the financing structure wrapped around the metal. That's now on paper with the full weight of the central banking system behind it. The lesson is not don't own silver. The lesson is know exactly what you own. If your exposure can be margin called, rebalanced, or liquidated by someone else's algorithm at 4 p.m. on a Friday, you don't own metal. You own a claim that's first in line for demolition, which leaves you with the question the report never quite asks out loud. If inflation is the hottest it's been in 3 years, and silver's price is being set by margin clerks and rebalancing algorithms instead, what is $65.31 actually measuring? And what happens to that number when the forced sellers are finally finished? Now, as a reminder, there is a full brief, the PDF, in the description. It's the full briefing version of this video. The Bank of International Settlements findings, the complete margin hike timeline, this week's inflation and rate numbers, every number sourced and footnoted. This is what institutions already have, and now you have it too. Download it as the first link in the description. If this is the kind of analysis you want more of, subscribe and like this video. And as a reminder, nothing in this video is financial advice. Do your own research, consult a licensed professional before making any financial investment decisions. I'm Eric with Summit Metals. I'll see you in the next one, and happy stacking.